Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel. My name is Hope, and this is Miss Hope for Life. I'm a new content creator. Come on, check me out. See what I'm talking about. Some days it may be about consciousness, awareness worldwide, celebrity gossip, reviews. Hey, you never know.
Michelle, you were at a news conference today and officials addressed the concern that the mother, well, she wasn't arrested right away.
And Chris, Harris County detectives spoke about that frustration after the couple was questioned and then released. Investigators said they had to process a lot of evidence before any charges could be filed.
This one's up there. You know, this one affected us.
Today, the Harris County Sheriff's Office shared new gruesome details about three brothers who are 15, 10, and 7 years old. For nearly a year, the children were living in an abandoned apartment with their brother's skeletal remains in West Harris County. Detectives say the child was 8 years old. His death ruled a homicide caused by multiple blunt force injuries.
We saw soiled carpet, no furniture at all. No bedding, no blankets, nothing that we could see.
Gloria Yvette Williams.
This morning, the mother of the children, Gloria Williams, charged with injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence. Her boyfriend, Brian Coulter, has been charged with murder in the death of Williams' child. Court documents revealed the child died last November, and the 7-year-old watched his brother get beaten to death.
He stated his younger brother's eyes were black and that he stopped blinking during the assault, and that they pulled back the covers and saw that he was really dead and saw roaches everywhere on him.
And Coulter did not appear in front of a judge today because he was being evaluated by a medical health unit. His bond was set at $1 million. As for Williams, her bond was set at $900,000.
Ain't shit wrong with her.
Houston.
Here she come walking up like she been doing a very good job bouncing and shit. Huh. Not my tax dollars. Don't house her. Her ass away. Underground. And I ain't talking Harriet Tubman.
Actually do that this year. Yes, I did. All right. Gloria Yvette Williams. Good morning, Ms. Williams. Ma'am, you're charged with the third-degree felony of injury to a child by omission, the first-degree felony of injury to a child causing serious bodily injury, the second-degree felony of tampering with evidence when that evidence is a human corpse. I have looked at the alleged probable cause facts for these three charges, including the supplemental statement of facts, which I believe was supplied to the Public Defender's Office. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause for all three of these cases to go forward. All three cases will go to the 230th District Court. That's going to be Judge Chris Morton. Will you need a court-appointed lawyer from Judge Morton? Would you like the help today of Attorney Chris Henderson from the Public Defender's Office?
Bitch, you better not speak
Ms.
up.
Keith, on the question of bond
You didn't
for
speak
each
up
of
like a
these
chairman.
three charges, what is the state's request?
In the first-degree felony, I am requesting a $500,000 bond.
What?
In the injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence cases, I'm requesting $250,000 bonds, and I am opposed to personal bonds. Not necessarily because the injury cases are prohibited by this court for personal bonds to be granted, but mostly based on the horrific facts and circumstances of this case, which resulted in the death of a 7-year-old child. As is reflected in the statement of probable cause, officers were called out to a residence in Harris County on Greencrest Drive on October the 24th of this year regarding the death of the minor complainant, who is the child of this defendant. There were 3 juvenile witnesses who are also complainants in these cases. There was a 15, 10, and 7-year-old child who are witnesses to the incident. Officers arrived, spoke with the 15-year-old child, who stated that he found his younger brother, the deceased minor complainant, in a bedroom of the residence sometime around Thanksgiving of last year, 2020. He believed this defendant would call the police, told officers that she never did so, and that she then had moved out of the apartment, leaving them in the residence with his deceased younger brother without adult supervision. He stated that they had found his younger brother approximately 1 week before Thanksgiving. He also told officers that the co-defendant, who is the boyfriend of this defendant, would lock them in a bedroom and he would hear them hitting his brothers while he was in the room with them. He stated he told this defendant about the conduct, but she ignored him, said she would talk with the co-defendant, and the 15-year-old stated, quote, "that never worked." Officers also spoke with the 10-year-old complaining witness, who is the complainant in the first-degree felony serious bodily injury case, who stated that he was actually in the room when the co-defendant assaulted his deceased younger brother, striking him in the face, feet, buttocks, back, his legs, and testicles with closed fists and feet. He stated that the co-defendant then laid his brother on the floor and put a cover over him, that the defendant then came in the room to check on his younger brother, saw the body under the cover. She began crying, then made him leave the room. The 10-year-old stated that the defendant and the co-defendant then began fighting because the co-defendant had killed his younger brother. He stated that the defendant then came back another day, checked on his younger brother, and found that his body, feet, and teeth had turned into a skeleton. He stated that the co-defendant would beat him as well, hitting him on his buttocks, legs, stomach, and face, and punched him in the jaw, causing his face to be swollen. He stated when the co-defendant would drink beer and alcohol, he would get very strong. The 10-year-old also stated that his younger brother was on the floor under the cover, that his body was a skeleton, and that his hair was off. Law enforcement officers on scene observed that 10-year-old child to have extensive swelling to his face and jaw. When they made contact with him on October 24th, he was transported to Texas Children's Hospital, where it was discovered that he had blunt force trauma to the face, which would require surgery because medical treatment was not sought or obtained when he was injured. During a forensic interview the following day, he disclosed that the injury had occurred when the co-defendant struck him in the face approximately 3 weeks prior, and that this defendant was aware of the injury but did not seek or obtain medical aid for him.
That bitch didn't do shit.
The 7-year-old child was also interviewed, who stated that he saw it when his older brother, who is now deceased, was injured. He said he saw the co-defendant punching his brother, that his brother was lying down and the co-defendant kicked him with his feet, that his brother was not moving and the co-defendant continued to kick him and stared at his younger brother as he kicked him.
My
He
God.
stated his younger brother's eyes were black and that he stopped blinking during the assault, and that they pulled back the covers and saw that he was really dead and saw roaches everywhere on him. Officers also spoke to this defendant on October the 24th, 2021, when she was interviewed. And she stated that in November of 2020, before Thanksgiving, she had gone into the bedroom where the deceased complainant and 2 other children were at. She witnessed the co-defendant punching her now deceased son. She said she stopped him from continuing to assault him, that she entered the bedroom the next morning and found him covered with a blue blanket, that she pulled back and found him to be deceased. She confronted him, the co-defendant, who stated he was sorry that he lost it and punched him, and continued punching him until he went to sleep. The co-defendant told her that he covered him up with a blanket after he went to sleep. The defendant admitted that she knew he was deceased in November of 2020,
Oh,
but did
yeah,
not
bitch.
notify law enforcement at the time of his death because the co-defendant had told her not to. She was afraid that the children would be taken by Child Protective Services and that she would go to jail.
Well, that's what happened
Officers
anyway.
on the scene on the 24th found the deceased and badly decomposed body of the 9-year-old complainant discovered under a blanket in the bedroom. An autopsy was conducted, and the cause of death was found to be a homicide
She's
due
so
to
choked
homicidal
up.
violence with blunt force injury. I'm requesting those bond amounts and am opposed to lower bonds as I do have concerns for the safety and protection of these surviving complainants.
All of a
I do
sudden.
not believe that this defendant should be permitted to have any contact with these children or any children in the community. I am requesting a protective order for the surviving children, and as well as urging the state's motion for bond conditions. I believe there was one filed in every case, so the first degree, that she have no contact of any kind with any of these children or the co-defendant, that she be ordered to surrender any travel documentation in the form of a passport, visa, or other
Bitch
travel
ain't got
documents,
shit.
that she not possess or use any firearms, ammunition, or other weapons, or use, possess, or consume any alcohol, controlled substances, and that she be drug tested, that she be subject to an electronic monitor with a curfew of house arrest.
So this bitch
that she
is
have no
getting out.
contact of any kind with any child under the age of 17, or participate or supervise any activities involving children under the age of 17.
Bitch, I know you
Mr.
fucking
Hirsch.
lying.
We're covering a very disturbing case
I
out of
don't
West
know
Harris County now.
what the fuck is going on. Where was her people? Where is his people? The boy who did it. Brian people. Where's Gloria family?
And 31-year-old Brian
This is
Coulter has now
bullshit.
been charged with murder. Williams' family says they haven't spoken with her in months. It's a story you'll
Why not?
only
A whole year? Ain't no
How did
fucking
we
way.
get to this? How could you not reach out and just be like, y'all, I've lost control. It's
How could y'all not try to help
And
them?
we would have taken all of the kids.
The children had been living with their brother's skeletal remains
My
for nearly
opinion.
a year. We have
The
team
lies.
coverage for you tonight. Rochelle Turner has more on the investigation.
But we begin now with Taisha Walker with the story you'll see only on
Maybe
2.
where they do that
Taisha,
at?
what else did the
Houston.
family have to say to you?
Lauren, the family says Williams basically was estranged, that they would hear from her on and off. Her number was always different, as well as her address. In fact, they said they didn't even know that the family was staying at this apartment complex because the last time they met them over the summer, it was just the boyfriend who came outside of the apartment complex, a 15-minute drive away.
I seen the news or the news article about the kids, but I never thought it was her.
Christy Smith and everyone sitting on this couch is related to Gloria Williams.
Should be goddamn
The
ashamed of
35-year-old mother of
yourself.
6 is charged with injury to a child
Give a
and tampering
fuck.
with evidence, while her 31-year-old boyfriend is facing murder for the death of her 8-year-old son, Kendrick. Harris County deputies say Kendrick was beaten and his corpse was left to decompose for 11 months inside of an apartment the couple abandoned to live elsewhere.
Kendrick was autistic. To my knowledge, when he would come around our family, all he did was smile.
Cousin Yasmin Craig says Kendrick was mostly nonverbal. She says as a family, they offered to raise Kendrick when he was younger, but William refused.
My mom has been asking for Kendrick since the day he was born. all because we knew that all these kids, eventually, she was not going to be able to be the best parent she can be.
Family members say Williams had 6 kids, including the 3 surviving boys who were also living in the apartment, and 2 girls, whom she no longer has parental rights. Melody Robinson has full custody of the youngest daughter and says CPS told her this late last year.
Because Gloria gave up her rights to her and she failed the first child, that they would be going in to take all the other 4 boys.
The family says Williams was estranged, only reaching out for money, always saying the kids were fine.
So why y'all didn't try to see the kids before giving her money? Man, y'all failed it.
So we never had an apartment number. She always be like, okay, I'll meet y'all at the front of the apartment.
Bullshit.
Another question so many viewers have been asking, aside from where was extended family, they wanted to know, how was Williams able to pay the rent here with these kids living here by themselves? The family members that I spoke with say they believe with disability checks that she was receiving for some of the kids. We do know not only Kendrick had autism, but another one of those 4 boys that was living inside of the apartment complex behind me.
How did
Reporting
this
live at
shit
8,
happen?
Taisha
Lord have
Walker,
mercy.
KPRC
We
2.
got to be more